So last week I asked you guys, we were ending our um, creation, practicing creation, little few sessions. And then I asked you what you wanted to know next and what I can bring to the table. And three topics. One was more peace, how to have a quiet mind. Um, Another was overcoming the self doubt and lack of confidence, and then some work with the meridian points. So I'm going with the self doubt and confidence because I believe that it plays a big part in our ability to accept and understand that we are uh, God and that we do create. And so it really hinders the ability to create, right? Because if you're all bound up about that. So there's a couple of kinds of self-doubt. So there's self-doubt um, whenever we start something new, or we sign up to learn something, say take a class. um, we're putting ourselves in an unknown space, an unfamiliar space. And until we learn the language or the process of the new thing, we're going to be saying things like, I don't understand a thing about this. It was crazy of me to sign up for this. And what was I thinking? Am I doing this right? I'm never going to get this. And very shortly, though, we start to recognize and we feel familiar with the terms and with the movements, if it's a movement class, and we begin to feel comfortable. So for me, whenever I learn something new, especially um, in the educational realm, and I'm sitting there in a completely different new topic, and I don't understand the words, and I don't, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to really study. So I've learned through the years, if I write it out for a couple classes, as soon as I'm like, I just tell myself, I'm going to be familiar really quickly with what they're saying, and then it's going to be easy. And that happens every time because I get familiar. So that's one kind of self doubt, or like, I don't think I can lift this heavy box onto the truck, but I know I'll figure out how to get it done. That's different than um, words like doubting who and what we are, and doubting our ability to create, be creative, be resilient, to perform and have a result, and all of that. So the first kind is just normal life with learning something new. The second kind of self-doubt, it rises up through the ego, through the brain, because the brain's likes to be the number one. And so when we start working with, like we were working with create something small, and it was a real roadblock, because we wonder, can I create? Yes, we're doing it all the time, moment by moment, but we go through, if it doesn't appear, does it mean I don't have it, or I missed that gene or that blessing, or I don't, I don't understand this and I'm the only one. All of that is self-attacking self-doubt. And it just comes out of two things. We don't own the truth of who we are, and we haven't practiced. Because as with all things, the rubber meets the road when we practice, when we put our hands to the task, when we put our intention on the line, and then we're faced with, do we really believe? Like, what is it we really believe about what we're doing? And then that kind of a doubting ourselves can become very, can erode. Uh, so we gain confidence in the truth by applying the truth in small ways. So we work our way up to big ways. if you are needing a big thing, it may feel very challenging initially, but starting small and creating an ice cream cone, a parking spot, um, having a friend call out of the blue, then, and keeping your journal, right? Keeping your journal. Then you begin to understand that every thought creates, every thought creates. With that understanding, there is immense responsibility. And I feel that that is also part of what holds us back. But our confidence, which is our knowing, is born out of believing or owning the truth about us. So the truth is that you were before you were this form of you right now. You were before you took on the form of Claire or Kevin or Mary Beth or Audrey. You are created eternal. You will never die. Nobody ever dies. Nobody can kill you. You live on. You live on. You might end this existence, this particular chapter, but your life will never be over at all. We are eternal beings. And our soul spirit is the image of God. It is the presence of God, and it is our God self. We are one and the same. We cannot be less than that because we are created from the universe, from God, from that fabric. So really spending some time on these truths will, it'll go a really long time before you have any conversation kick in about, can I do this, or I don't want to try, or I don't know if it's going to work, or something like that. So we are created to create, and we're, through our creation, discover or awaken to our God self. So we are to learn, and we've been shedding skin, like shedding the history. Don't worry, there's lots more to shed. It just gets easier and faster. If you don't feel like you've been shedding any of it, buckle up. We all have it if we've been alive for more than 10 minutes. So we're created to create, and through the creations that we make, we awaken to us. Now, creation is our moment to moment life as well as material experiences. Creation is an outshowing of who we are being, what we believe about ourselves in this moment, etc. So us, through the creation that we create, we discover our passions, our desires, and our joys. We must be moving along to observe the unfolding of the passions and desires in our soul. It's not a movie we watch and then we go become. It is, as we are going, we're discovering, and we're discovering at the pace that we know. And then as we learn and know more, we discover deeper and more, right? As we attach to and acquire the truths, the experiences, the delight in the creation, the fruits of our thoughts and emotions, then we keep expanding. So everything that we start creating from deep within our soul, deep within our God self. Creation of our life, moment to moment, not just goalposts, to post of things that we think that we want to do, but the moment to moment creating starts deep within our soul. That's why doing all the soulical work is so important. We're here to awaken and expand. And we are all here to express in our unique way, where we were never intended to be um, following following the leader. We were intended to evolve, try something, not as exciting as I thought, try something else, right? Learn something new, apply myself to this and that. We've really squelched that to a large degree in as a people group, but we are to be expressing in our unique way according to our unique uh, desires and passions in our heart. And along our journey, that will change, and the outward expression of our life will change, right? So within each of us, there resides an infinite number of possibilities. Infinite. Not one plan, not one path, not one way, but always, always, always are here for us. What do we choose? We take a choice, we like it, we keep moving along that choice. We don't like it, we make another choice, we start moving along that way, make another choice. No judgment, no failing, no, you know, you make a change after a while, you don't like your job and people think you're nuts. It's supposed to happen that way. If you evolve and grow and understand this is not for you, this life that we're living is a joyous experience, not a life sentence of suffering and enduring, right? It is creating a new experience and a new expression for yourself to be joyful, expanding, evolving. As we discover and we evolve, we become more free, we become more loving, we lose judgment and criticism of ourselves and others. We are more joyful about our life. We're more creative. We're more united in our thinking. All is one and one is all. We're more God in our being, and expressing in our own unique way. So we're here to remember or awaken to our Godness. And then we are to embrace the Godness, embrace the it's like, the fantasy of, somebody comes and says, you really have everything that you could possibly have, and you can do anything you could ever want to do. We've been hunting for you for years. Here's your, inheritance. It's within you. It's within you already. We awaken to it. And then we begin to practice. But it's not a head expression. Okay, I'm a God being, I'm going to create an ice cream cone. It's a knowing. We connect with the truth and we ponder the truth and we spend time with the truth until the truth is so awakened in us that there is not room for anything else. It doesn't cross our mind that we are not the spirit children of a living God. It never crosses our mind. So if that's not the expression that you're having in life, then it's coming back to spending time in that truth until the truth becomes more real and drowns out. Because truth is light and life, and it will drown out fear and doubt, worry. There's no judgment. We are loved and surrounded all the time. There's no you're going to miss the mark or miss the boat or whatever. That's all teaching that we've been given, and that's part of the reprogramming and making room for what's my unique expression, right? Do I really believe? Because when you get down, go out and create something really simple. People were like, oh my gosh, no, And at one point in my life, I'm like, how can this be? Right? But you practice and you practice and you evolve and you see what comes up in you. And you see what comes up in you as you ponder your desire, ponder what you are creating, see what rises up in you, and then deal with what rises up in you. Because fear and doubt, doubt is just a baby fear. And if you let doubt come in, it'll bring its big brother along, and then you'll have a bigger fear about it. And there's no need for fear. And our lives, we're God beings. We're learning to create, we're learning to discover, we're learning how loved we are. There's no fear in love. There's no fear in your God self. Your awareness of being, your God self knows everything, knows exactly what you're going to need to fulfill your plan that you've chosen to reach for, right? It's completely well, completely neutral. So your God soul, your God being, doesn't have any fear, concern, anxiety, worry, any of those things. It knows there's no downside. There's no downside to life. Make a new creation. Make a new creation. If we see that we're going in a direction we don't care for, create something new, right? But we've been given the same authentic being, and we are coming awake to it. So if any of the fears and doubts, and uh, we have to look at them in the face and go, where did you come from? um, you're not applicable to my life right now anymore. And that's part of our work. It's part of our work. We're the ones who chose to believe what we chose to believe. We're the ones who interpreted our experiences a certain way and what we think they said about us. We're the ones who own everything in our life. We made the choices and chose the perception. So as we're understanding and growing, then we can change the perception, and look at circumstances in a different light, with a different perspective, through different eyes, right? And big things deflate down to nothing. So confidence in our divinity and not doubting who we are requires us to start believing the truth that we want to believe. It's plain and simple. So ways to do that, like one of the first meditations that we started in was the I am, I am, repeating that over and over and over until it connects with you. I am. Before I was Audrey, I am. Before I was having this experience, I am. Then we start to understand that we are not our experiences. Therefore, we can change them. And another meditation also is I am, I create. I am, I create. I am, my thoughts and emotions create, right? We begin to let that sink in, and then it becomes our way of being. We're consciously aware, I am, I create, and we choose. We begin to choose. So the truth must be owned. There's no way around it. You can't read someone else's notes. You can't do steps. Sometimes you get a little bit lucky and you get some stuff But the truth must be owned to belong to you. If you don't own it, heart and soul, it's not yours. And the fruit of it will be hard to attach to because you don't believe it. You're hoping it's true, right? So we ask for help from spirit, right? Ask for help from spirit. Because the life that we're living is completely independent and completely, we're living our earthly experience alongside other people, but it's our life. We are not living for someone else or according to someone else's guidelines. If you are, stop doing that. This is your life. It's your life. How you think belongs to you. The energy that that creates belongs to you. The fruit it produces belongs to you. No matter what is happening, because you are and you create. So the life that you have is yours to thoroughly enjoy and connect with your soul. What will be fun to do now? What do I need right now? And when some doubt or self-confidence rises up, be like, that's an old way of thinking. That doesn't belong to me anymore. If in fact you don't believe it, it'll quickly try 1 or 2 times and never come back. If you don't feed it, it'll go somewhere else to eat. So understanding who and what we are and living in these eternal truths until we feel the vibration through our entire system. Now we own who we are. So that's my talk on confidence. And then practice. Because whether you intentionally practice creating or you do nothing at all, you're creating your life. You're creating your life. Period. It's not happening to you at all. You're creating it. Any comments?
I wonder what I'm creating sometimes. Oh my gosh.
So
I wrote a lot of things. I have a lot of things to think about.
it's a matter of checking in and being kind to yourself.
Oh, I have a problem with that sometimes.
Well, so start there.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't be kind to yourself, you don't own that. So start with being kind and loving on this journey. It's a gift. This is a beautiful life. These are magical moments that we are existing in within our soul. So
sometimes it feels harder, like you're I don't know. It sometimes feel like you're harder or supposed to be doing, like lessons or something.
well, they are lessons initially, it feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and sometimes the grooves of emotion and thought and ways of being that are normal to us, but not in line with our highest and best, it can be uncomfortable climbing out of that and getting off on level ground. But that's part of the journey. We've been empowered to do that. We don't have to have a long, drawn out, dramatic time doing it. but we've been given the power and ability to see, change our perspective, change our outlook and feelings about it, allow it to be transformed, and arrive in this present moment. So
I
that's,
think so. I think by doing all of that, it quiets your mind.
yeah.
I think I've just had a double lesson here
Yeah.
because I'm the one that wanted inner peace and the quieting of the mind. And I think by concentrating and doing what you're talking about, it's just a natural progression,
It
right?
is, because
Yeah.
you will connect with your authentic being, your God self, separate from your mind. And then you will realize that you are not your mind at all. Your mind is a data bank, it is a recording, it is a memorization. You are not your mind,
Right.
you are your soul. And we have to get to where there is a difference between the two.
Separation, yeah.
And then once you get a crack in there, it'll make more space, and then pretty soon we start to live from the soul, using the information gathered and recorded in the mind.
Yeah, my mind says, hey, I've been taking care of you all these years. I've been making sure you're safe. I've been protecting you, blah, 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 blah. And now you're going to kick me to the curb.
Well,
It's resisting.
but it's not true. It didn't do all those things for you.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, right.
But that's the point
Yeah.
of you putting your foot down and starting a new
It's something new.
dialogue.
Hmm.
A new dialogue. Everybody goes through what you're going through. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. When we've been living in our mind, we didn't know. Then we have to separate from our mind, start being, start getting into where we can be being on the inside, being in our being, being in our being. And then the outshowing will begin to vaporize. So, so that's my thing for today. It did hit on peace, and we can talk about, and Tom, you wanted meridian points. Could you email me or text me with a little bit more definition of what you're looking for? This, so I can come forth with answering the question and some more. So I'd love that. So we're never not meditating either, because we're creating, we're never not doing it. So beginning to, where are my thoughts, where's my feelings, where's my heart, is an awareness. It is in fact meditating. And then we set aside other time or do other kinds, walking meditation, awareness meditation, creation meditation, love, basking in love meditation, healing meditation. We never don't have any of those moments in our day practically. So we can drop in and connect, drop in and connect. So do that throughout the day. So any other topics come out of this one, or questions, comments? If not, we'll close it out with a little love.